I was planning to make a tutorial as a thank you for getting 15,000 subscribers, but as I was editing this, I actually hit 16,000. Thank you so much. I am growing so fast and I can't believe it. Your support means the world to me. As you can see, this is a long video. I tried to cover everything you guys had asked, so if you're looking for something specific, be sure to check the chapters. And if you watch the whole thing, I appreciate you. How I come up with ideas. Weirdly enough, personally, I think of them right before I go to sleep sometimes. I see what I always think, a story concept or an uncanny idea. If that's not the case for you, I sometimes think of double meanings in titles, albums, or lyrics. For example, do the dance. I thought of a scary video explaining how to do the dance. It sounds like a normal sentence, but it's also the song title. And analog horror is usually explaining and telling information in a direct way, so it fits perfectly. I also make sure to keep a notes document of all ideas I think of, big or small. You may think it doesn't matter in the moment, but when you need a pinch of an idea, it will be helpful to build on or use fully. But to generate an idea, it may work from inspiration from a different source. What made me start, and my inspiration source? I first started making analog horror art on the 10th of December 2024, after I saw this video, Whiplash by Mello. It did make me feel scared, but then I realized I wanted to be able to create this feeling through art, as I do lots of other forms of art too. And that's why you'll notice, my first video is a Vase Armageddon and Whiplash, as I was inspired by this, and at the same time, created it with a vision I saw myself, of analog horror art. Which brings me to my main inspiration today. This is a Pinterest board I have saved under my many inspirations for arts. I make sure to update it regularly and refer to it a lot during creation process. I love this type of art, and I'd say it's what my style is. In terms of artists that I'm inspired by, I'm particularly and encouraged by these artists: Dr. Nowhere, DR Slappers, Capcut. Ironically, horror movies really scare me, but I still watch them. I love ones like Unfriended, Missing, Hush, IT, Barbarian, Scream All. Ones that are very paranormal are a bit too far for me. Haha, but I still watch it. Where I get clips from. We'll use music videos, music video teasers, anything else groups or idols post with it, like films and concept videos. If there isn't a huge difference in yours or music videos, you can use as many as you want if you believe you can make blend, or if that just won't bother you. Depending on your concept idea, anything at all could apply. For example, sometimes I use idols live streams as they're completely, still mostly and facing straight, to do the mouse moving edit. Try to think of it like your video isn't part of the music video, the mud is part of your video. You should build it up with elements relating to your idea so the clips go beyond from one source. They can be from anywhere. How I arrange clips. The first thing I usually do is either figuring out the audio or clips I will use. When looking at an MV or any piece of content you want to use, think of parts of it that, one, you know will add to the horror alone, two, you know you'll be able to add more, the horror to it yourself. For example, I like shadow parts of a person, as it can bring horror by itself, but things, like just a face alone, can be built up, with other elements added, which I'll show later in the video. I'll arrange the videos while thinking how the outcome will be. Where will the normal parts go? Where can jump scares or unsettling parts go? I like to even it out but also make it slightly different every time, so it's not predictable. I recommend using as many clips as you want and even more, so while you're sorting through it, you can delete the ones you're not happy with. It's better to have more than less just so it's not as empty. Of course, it doesn't look the best at first without all the effects. Just be sure to trust the process and don't give up yet. In my opinion, the effects are the most significant and change the whole video so well. So don't be put off yet if your clips don't seem the best, because you'll get to adjusting. Uncanny editing. I have full behind the scenes of editing for my member videos, but generally to create uncanny visuals, I first adjust it to be darker. You can also do that after as well. Then I'll duplicate the picture and place it over it, using the lighting overlay. It blends into the skin, and you can stretch it so it is mismatched. You can also use any of the other overlay types that you want. I did the same method of dragging down parts of that same picture on top of it. Then I saved every frame of it being dragged further and further down. Underneath I had to patch skin and her face taken from another frame where it showed her face, so I could move the hands, which were on a separate layer, down smoothly. Mouth movement. Hello! I make sure the picture of the person I'm using has been adjusted first, such as the brightness and contrast, etc. I'll usually make the person a PG, though I can add it on a background to the dance video, or if it's an existing frame, be alright video. Screenshot the frame of it. Then I'll place a black square underneath, and make the chin and bottom lip be placed down as far as you want. I'll end up having two frames, one the chin extended with the black square, to the original image, so mouth closed. For this particular scene, I just added part of her lips that were already visible and put them on the sides too. Smile effect. There are two options to use, for a photo or for a video. Firstly, for a video I use the body effects on the clip, then funny faces, then cheer or fake laugh. I usually use fake laugh. For a photo, I usually freeze the last frame of the video, or you can add a photo in, and use photo effects, then expressions, and any of the smiles you want. I recommend doing this as one of the first few steps, before effects and adjusting so that it goes on top of it, and looks more natural. Of course here, this is just an example, I wouldn't actually do it above the grain effect and other effects I used here. Human movement in general. I build up pictures and layers. So for this, luckily One was wearing white, so all I had to do was add a random hand PG, and then add white over it. I made two pictures of the arms positioned opposite ways so it would look like she was waving, while also having the mouth open and closed. My general art progress rundown. 1. Have the idea. 2. Retrieve content to fit with my idea photos or music video clips and the audios. 3. Edit them if necessary in picsart photos. 4. Arrange clips and add effects to audio. 5. Adjust them. Saving point 6. Add effects. 7. Add overlays of graphic design on picsart if necessary and add effects to them too. 8. Save it again. 9. Add more effects, screen record or save. 10. Watermark. Audios and audio effects. Usually I will use the instrumental audio for a song of the group or idol I'm using. The first step I'll do is use deep on the audio and save it. Then I'll put it back in and do it again if necessary. And then I will use audio effects like these to sound muffled and retro. For text-to-speech audio, I use distorted or robot in the voice characters section. I also don't normally use the same text and speech because it will say the wrong things, so I'll copy the text and alter it then use that audio, then delete the text. For example, this text-to-speech I'm using here would take lots of pauses since the lines are shortened and returned a lot, and she would usually say "I'm not music video." So, in the other text, I'll change it. Fonts. I use fonts mostly on Picsart, save as a PG, then overlay on CapCut. But for captions, I'll use CapCut's fonts. These are my most frequently used fonts across both. Graphic design overlays. Edit a graphic on Picsart and overlay it on CapCut. Mostly I use images from Picsart itself on the sticker section, or you can take an image from elsewhere. Here are some other examples. I either add effects to the overlay and save it or add to the whole clips. Straight to the overlay will make it less harsh, and that is a good choice since the other option may be too unreadable and you won't be able to alter it. Silhouettes. I get the video of dancing or any person you want. Then I turn down the brightness, blacks, using adjusting as much as I can. Then I remove background CapCut, screen record it if it's still not a good silhouette yet. Then you can overlay it, or just use it with a white background. I used the white background then overlaid a colored shade for the background. Effects I use. These are my favorites effects that I use all the time. To screen record pro effects or any effects in general, I recommend resorting to that for the last step so the quality isn't affected as much. And split right before use so you just have to replace the clip. And if it doesn't bother you about the quality, you can just screen record the whole thing including some of the pro effects. But like I said, I don't recommend this if you are planning to add more on the top of it. For example, the smile effect. It should be one of the last steps in my opinion, obviously apart from the watermark. How I make glitches. To show you how to do it, I had to add a lot of elements such as lots of clips, overlays, effects, and audio. That is usually how it works for me. When there's a lot in the project, there will be more natural glitches thanks to CapCut being laggy, haha. So screen record it when you see a glitch like this. But while you are scrolling backwards through the clips, only that way. I don't know why it only works backwards. So then when you add it back in, crop it, and reverse it, done. Your specific questions. Do you use any other apps except CapCut? If yes, which? I use Picsart for designing, and Fonto sometimes to curve text or warp it. This was used in How to Do the Dance, and I did the curved text in Fonto, then I masked it out in a circular shape in Picsart. This person asks me my gender. First of all, I love you too, and thank you for your kind words. I asked you all what you think, and most were right, even though I might have given it away at some times. But now I'm curious. How old do you think I am? Write it in the comments if you see this. How is your CapCut not lagging? When I try to use it for long videos, it's lagging a lot and the sound isn't at the right place. I try to save it as much as possible at intervals when I'm happy with it, and I'm sure I won't need to go back. When I've got the clips, when I've adjusted it, when I've done the effects, even if it cuts off from the clips, I'll just adjust it lastly. I make sure that if it's getting heavy on the project, I'll save it then just add it in again and it will be smooth. If it's other problems, it might be because of storage and charge levels, so maybe have breaks in between, too, so your device doesn't overheat. Be sure to delete projects you don't need from the trash, too, so it clears up more space. Do you use any overlays? Not all the time, but for this, did use an overlay from YouTube and I just searched fire burning. I don't really use them if this is what you mean. Specifically for making K-pop edits. Does the group concept matter? Would certain concepts such as Dreamcore for Islet or Y2K from New Jeans fit with analog horror more than aespa who are more futuristic? For me, personally, it doesn't matter to me because I will try to make it all into my style anyway. So it doesn't matter what concept the group or idol has as it will all end up in a similar style I create. I guess it depends on what style you use. A bit off topic, but is there any meaning behind your look?
Did you notice the brown second side?